Hi everyone, Gwen here. Obviously, I am not in my normal environment. I am out of town on business, but we have to do Real Hair Revelations. We cannot miss Real Hair Revelations on Thursdays, right? So we are here. I am here in Dallas, Texas, and I'm actually in my hotel room right now. And I love y'all so much that I even brought my tripod so I could make sure that I got my RHR Real Hair Revelations in for this week. So brought my tripod, I got the natural light jumping off, and I'm sitting by the window, and I'm here. I made it. And I'm talking to y'all today about silicones, the good, the bad, and the ugly of silicones. And it's so interesting because I actually already planned to do this video today. And it's so interesting that I believe Ebony, it was, in the group asked a question about her hair products and why they were making her hair dull. And she's using a brand. I don't know what brand it is. She said it wasn't Naturalicious. It was some other brand she was using. And she was wondering why her hair was looking dull. It didn't feel dry. It just felt dull. And Jamie here in the group commented and said, hey, well, you know, it may have a lot of silicones in it. And I was like, lo and behold, I'm about to talk about silicones today. We all on time. We all vibing together. So again, I want to talk to you guys today about silicones. Now, what are silicones? Silicones are, okay, first of all, let me kind of backtrack a little bit. Y'all, like bird literally just flew and like hit my window. I'm sorry, it freaked me out just now. But anyway, okay, so silicones are, have gotten a bad rap from folks in the blogosphere, right? And so while folks mean well, and their information isn't wrong, it's mostly incomplete, however. And so I'm going to give you the complete information, or mostly complete information, because we'd be here all day if I gave you the whole spiel on silicones. But I'm going to give you a bit more completion to the truth about silicones, okay? So first of all, silicones have gotten a really bad rap, for some for good reason and some for not so good reason. But basically, silicones are a type of ingredient that can be found in a lot of conditioners. They're often found times in moisturizers and things like that. Sometimes in shampoos, not so much, but mostly they're in like the leave-in sort of products, like the conditioners, the leave-in conditioners, the moisturizer, things like that. And silicones they're very easy to spot. They always end in cone. So like dimethicone or phenol something cone, like they always end in cone, C-O-N-E, or they may end in Xane, X-A-N-E. Okay, so if you are at the store and you are looking for a product that does not have silicones in it, you want to make sure you stay away from the products that have ingredients that end in cone or Xane. That's C-O-N-E or X-A-N-E. All right. Now, silicones are an ingredient that are often found in these types of products, and this ingredient tends to give your hair the slip that we all, for the most part, like, right? We always hear about people saying, oh, this product has so much slip and I really love it. And the slip and the sleekness and the shine can usually and oftentimes be attributed to those cones. So on one hand, a lot of folks say, well, stay away from cones. But on the other hand, you want the sleekness and the shine and the slip, for the most part, that people love. So it's hard to have both without the other. It's hard to have one without the other, for the most part, right? So here's the thing though. Silicones are not bad when used responsibly, right? So I always attribute using silicones to alcohol, right? So you know how if you and I went and we grabbed a drink, we was like, you know what, girl, we about to go hang out. We about to go just chill at the bar, right? We go to the club, we go to the bar, whatever. We grab a drink. We have 1 or 2 drinks. We are probably going to be okay, right? Unless you have a extremely low tolerance, and I have a low tolerance, but I can handle 1 drink, right? So we go to the bar, we have a drink, and we just chat it up, and we leave, and we're good. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not illegal. It's not immoral. We're good, right? We're fine. However, conversely, if we were to go to the same place and we were to throw back 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drinks, that's a problem. We're going to be out of our minds. We're probably going to do some real irresponsible stuff, say some things we don't mean. It's going to be all kinds of bad, right? And that's kind of how I attribute silicones to alcohol, to drinking alcohol, right? So if you find in your hair product that you have one silicone, it's probably going to be okay, right? However, if you find that you have 3, 4, 5, 6 silicones in one product, which some of these products do have that many silicones in it, that is a problem. And let me tell you why it's a problem. So again, a lot of times we want the slip and we want the sleekness and all that stuff that comes from the cones, but what we don't want is the buildup that occurs when you've got a whole bunch of cones or silicones in your hair products, right? So the problem with the silicone is not necessarily the silicone itself, it's how the silicone has to be removed. So silicones can only be removed for the most part, and I'm speaking very generally here, and I want to caveat this conversation that we're having and remind you that I'm speaking very generally about silicones here, okay? There are insoluble silicones, there are soluble silicones. They're all, and we're not going to get into all of that because, again, we will be here all day. So I'm speaking very, very generally about silicones, okay? So I should have said that in the beginning. But the way that most silicones have to be removed is that they have to be removed with something called a surfactant. And a surfactant, not to confuse you anymore, but a surfactant is basically an ingredient that dissolves the surface of the ingredient that is put into. So I know you're like, what? So let me give you an example. A surfactant can be a detergent. Right? So if you remember a few weeks ago, I did a Real Hair Revelation and we talked about how products that have sulfates in them are basically like using detergents on your hair. So essentially, if you want to thoroughly remove most silicones, you have to use something like a sulfate-based shampoo. And we all know that sulfate-based products are no good, right? Another way that can be removed is if your hair is detoxified, which is can be a much gentler way of removing silicones. Now think about this. If you've got one silicone in a hair product, right? So let's say you're using a leave-in conditioner and that leave-in conditioner has one silicone in it, okay? It's going to be a lot easier to remove that than if that same product has 4 or 5 silicones in it, right? So the more silicones that are in one product, the more likely you are to have to use a product that is a detergent. And we all talked about how sulfate-based products are very much like detergents, right? Because if you recall, if you didn't watch that one, I'll kind of backtrack and show you or tell you. If you look at a bottle of generic dish detergent and then you look at a bottle of basic shampoo, you'll find oftentimes that the first 2 ingredients are exactly the same. You'll find that the shampoo has water and sodium lauryl sulfate as the first 2 ingredients. On the generic dish detergent, you'll find the first 2 ingredients are water and sodium lauryl sulfate. Right? And so we all know that what's at the top of the ingredient list is what is mostly in that product. So if you've got 2 products basically made out of the exact same thing, when you wash your hair with a sulfate-based product, you're essentially washing your hair with detergent, which is obviously no good for you, okay? So this is why people say to stay away from silicones, because you have to use a product that is a surfactant, such as a detergent, such as a sulfate-based cleanser, in order to thoroughly remove it from your hair. Otherwise, if you are using a non-sulfate-based cleanser and you have been using products full of silicones, again with 2, 3, 4, 5 silicones in it, you're just cleansing the surface, but it's not able to dissolve, which is what a surfactant does. A surfactant dissolves the product that it is put into, so it's not able to dissolve it, so your hair will remain dull, it will remain lifeless, limp, and dry if you don't thoroughly remove that silicone. So again, silicones are not bad in the sense if you are using them sparingly. Again, I call it using it responsibly. If you are using them sparingly and you're doing it here and there, they can be okay. However, if you go ham with the silicones and you've got multiple silicones in one product, or if you are using several products that have silicones in it, so they're basically layering on top of each other over and over, you're going to find that your hair is really dull and dry. Now, a really good way to remove some silicones, again, because there's soluble silicones and there's insoluble silicones, soluble means that it's able to be dissolved in water versus not, is through detoxifying your hair. And so we have our Moroccan Rasoul 5-in-1 clay treatment, which is a detoxifier. It detoxifies your hair, removes all the bad stuff, leaves all the good stuff. So it leaves all the moisture, adds in more moisture, but it gets rid of all the crap that is oftentimes stuck in your hair even after you use a regular shampoo. So we do have that, and there's other brands that have some detoxifying detoxifying products as well, but that is ours. So again, to backtrack and kind of bring this all full circle, you want to make sure if you are using if you're using a silicone product or a product with a silicone in it, you want to see just one silicone in that product. Silicones are very easy to spot. They either end in C-O-N-E or X-A-N-E. Okay, they're very easy to spot. You know, I'm always telling you guys, when you go to the store, make sure that you look at your ingredient list before you leave the store. It will save you money, it will save you time, and it will save you so much frustration, because you won't get the product home, try it, and then hate it and can't understand why. Okay, the reason that a lot of times you have the dull hair, you have the dryness, and it seems like you're doing everything right is because those silicones, because you're using products with silicones, but you're correctly using a non-sulfate based cleanser. So you've got the cleansing thing going on, but those silicones have not been able to be removed from your hair because you haven't used either a detoxifying cleanser or you haven't used a surfactant, a product with a surfactant, aka a detergent, aka a silicone-based product. Now, something else that you can do if you are finding that your hair is just like really dull. I know Ebony earlier mentioned it. Her hair was just really dull. She's like, I don't know what's going on. Why does my hair look like this? Maybe it was Erica. It was either Ebony or Erica. I think it was Ebony who asked this question. What I do suggest is that you do an apple cider vinegar rinse to clarify your hair. Now, you don't want to do this too often. Apple cider vinegar is very acidic, as you know, okay? And our hair is generally alkaline, so you don't want to like mess up the pH balance of your hair by doing this too often. You really do not want to do these sorts of things any more than like once every like 2 months, to be honest. I mean, I know some people will say to do it, you can do it every month, and you probably can, but I like to err on the side of caution because you can really screw up your hair if you do apple cider vinegar rinses too often. So I would say every 2 months, maybe every 6 weeks. And if you're feeling adventurous, maybe every 4 weeks, but definitely no more than that. And so in order to do an apple cider vinegar rinse, you're going to take 1 part of apple cider vinegar, and I suggest getting the Bragg's brand. So Bragg's brand of apple cider vinegar. And the reason I like them is because they have what's called the mother. It's like all the stuff at the bottom that kind of settles at the bottom. You shake it up and it gets into the product. I really, really like their products. And so take 1 part of that to 3 parts of water. You need to dilute this. You do not want to put full strength apple cider vinegar on your hair. Oh my gosh, you will be in tears at what's going to happen to your hair if you do that too often. Okay, so you definitely want to dilute this. 1 part apple cider vinegar to 3 parts of water. Okay, and you're going to make sure your hair is wet. Thoroughly wet your hair first in the shower, and then you're going to put your head back like this, and you're going to pour the apple cider vinegar onto your hair and scalp and let it just run through. Okay, do the same thing on the side of your hair. Put your head down, do it in the back, and do it on the other side. You want to do all 4 like sides of your head, so to speak, okay? And just let it rinse out. Keep your eyes closed, you guys, because it will it can burn your eyes if it gets into your eyes. So you gotta be real careful with this, okay? If you have someone to help you, that's even better. Like if you've got like your boo at the house, or your kids are old enough to help you, or you've got like a friend over, that's even better, because that way you can for sure make sure that you're not gonna get it in your eyes. But you wanna make sure that you do that if you are experiencing that really dull, lifeless sort of hair that's just not doing anything proper, no matter what you do to it. There's a very, very, very good chance that you have a buildup of silicones on your hair. And again, remember, 1 silicone is okay. For those of you who are just tuning in, 1 silicone is not that bad. Again, it's just like us going to the bar, we grab a drink, we're drinking 1 drink, 1 or 2 drinks, we're good. Like we're fine. Nothing bad's gonna happen. But if we start throwing back 4, 5, 6, 7 drinks, that's a problem. And that's the analogy I like to give when I talk about silicones. But again, you're going to do this apple cider vinegar rinse. no more, literally maximum, no more than every 4 weeks. I suggest every 8 weeks, but if you must, every 4 weeks. Do that. It will clarify your hair. No need to worry about your hair smelling like apple cider vinegar. The smell from that will dissolve very quickly. It'll go away. But that will clarify your hair. And you'll find that when you do that, your hair, your curls will be so much more bouncier. It'll be so shiny. It'll look amazing after you do that. So if you're experiencing that dullness, that lifelessness or whatever, you'll find that once you do that apple cider vinegar rinse, you'll be good, okay? After you do the rinse, you do want to also rinse your hair with regular water from the shower after that, okay? And then you'll be good. So the good, the bad, and the ugly of silicones, hence why your hair might be just not cooperating. It may just be really, really dry and dull, and like you're just like frustrated because like, oh, man, I'm not using sulfate-based shampoos. I'm not, I'm moisturizing at the right times. I'm moisturizing almost every day or every other day. I'm doing hollow treatments. I'm doing everything, but I don't understand why my hair looks so dull and dry. And it's a good chance that you've got a buildup of silicones on your hair. To recap, when you go to the store, make sure that you look for CONE or XANE. So dimethicone would be one. And there are several other types of silicones. They can also end in OL sometimes. But again, I don't want to confuse you guys even more. For the most part, just look for CONE or XANE. And stay away from products that have a ton of silicones because, again, it's not necessarily the silicone that's the problem, although they do cause buildup. It's the way that it has to be removed from your hair that is the problem that can cause a lot of damage. So I hope that's been helpful. Don't be afraid of silicones, you guys. Don't go like this when you see a silicone. Just make sure this should just be like one in the product because again, silicones do give us that slip and that sleekness that we like. So when you guys, see those products and they're giving your hair that bomb twist out or that bomb braid out or whatever it is, sometimes that product might have a silicone in it and that is okay. Again, it's when you are going ham with the silicones or you are using several products that have silicones or you are using one product that has multiple silicones. So one silicone, we're going to give it a thumbs up. If you have 3 to more silicones, we're going to give it a thumbs down. And if you have more than one product that you're using that has silicones in it, we're going to give it a thumbs down. Okay? So again, don't be afraid of silicones. I know, like I said, that the blogosphere has given it a really, really, really bad name. But like I told you, some of that information, a lot of that information is incomplete because it makes it seem as though silicones are to be stayed away from, but they give you the look that you want. So it's like, you can't have one without the other for the most part. So I hope that has been provided some clarity on silicones for you guys. Like I said, I'm in Dallas right now, and they told me it was going to be like massively hot, like it was going to be like 105 degrees, and it's good. Like I feel like I'm in Michigan. Like the weather is just fine. I have no problems. So thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you joining me early today. Normally I do my real hair revelations a lot later, but I'm going to be busy when I at the time that I would normally do them. So I appreciate you joining me this early this time, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Talk to you later. Bye.